Listen up, everybody. Whatever grand vision, relationship goal, business idea, or personal pursuit that you've been dreaming of, whatever you want to bring to life, here's the secret. It only reveals itself once you start. You can prep until your color-coded spreadsheets run out of room, or you daydream until your mind's spinning in circles. But the actual pathway, the real roadmap to transformation, that map unfolds itself the moment you set foot on the trail.
Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast with Sean Osborn, the show helping you think bigger into your life and potential. Sean believes by equipping you with the tools, strategies, and philosophies required to be successful in all aspects of your life, you can achieve anything you believe in. Empowering our own growth makes a deeply positive and lasting impact on our lives, community, and our world. Now, here's Sean.
This episode is sponsored by the Inner Circle Mastermind. Listen, success isn't a solo game, and the fastest way to level up your business, mindset, and income is by getting in the right rooms. If you want to 10x your growth, then surround yourself with high-level thinkers. And this isn't just another group. It's a powerhouse of ambitious entrepreneurs, game changers, and industry leaders who are scaling fast and thinking even bigger. Doors are open now, but not for long, so apply today at thinkingbigcoaching.com/themastermind and start playing at a whole new level, because your network is your net worth. Welcome, everybody, to the Thinking Big podcast. I'm your host, Sean Osborn, and I'm here living and breathing the ultimate mindset philosophy, continually seeking ways to optimize every area of life. And there's a great quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Do the thing and you shall have the power." What he is saying is, once you start, then you get the energy, then you get the knowledge, then you get to meet the people, then you get the money. All of that is just a form of power and energy. Your dream might be in relationships, or leveling up your finances, or maybe climbing to the top of corporate ladder in your career. Whatever it is, you will never get a perfect snapshot until you begin. And once it starts to reveal itself, you've got to be ready to do it, adapt, evolve, and pivot when necessary, because it will not, I guarantee you, it will not look like the perfect picture that you had in your mind when you first said, yes, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go and do that. All right, so let's be real. Success should be as fun, harmonious, and even effortless as we can possibly make it. My goal is to help you create the mindset and systems to fuel your body, to ignite your potential and fill your heart so that you have the health, wealth, and relationships that light you up every single moment, every single day. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, seeing what's possible, stepping into the unknown, and letting the mission unfold. And if you've been tuning in for a while, you'll know that I am all about finding ways to think bigger and live efficiently. Energize your mental, physical, and spiritual realms so that you can show up every single day ready to crush your goals. It's the perpetual evolution that I'm always talking about, pushing edges, testing new ideas, forever learning. Because here's the truth. Sometimes it only takes one line that you hear, one golden nugget of wisdom to snap you into a whole new perspective. You read one quote or hear one new strategy and boom, your trajectory changes. That's all it takes. And I get so pumped up when I see your feedback on social media. Some of you will say like, Sean, episode 150 really hit home for me, or that last one inspired me to reorganize my entire business plan. Let's face it, we are all at different points of our journey. And let's face it, we are all at different points in our journeys. And each person hears an episode or reads a book at exactly the right moment. The same chunk of wisdom that soared over your head last year could become your saving grace 6 months from now. That's the beauty of it. And that's precisely why I talk so often about strategies and philosophies, because we need that steady drip of insight, that constant feed of possibility that we can grab and weave into our lives whenever we are ready. So today we are talking about how plans, ideas, and visions tend to reveal themselves after we start taking the action. Earlier I mentioned that quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Do the thing and you shall have the power." You'll hear me talk about this idea in a million different ways on this podcast and everything that I do. You can map out every step of your life, your career, your relationships, your finances, your health. You can measure your KPIs, set big, hairy, audacious goals, list out micro steps, all the metrics, but the second you start to do the thing, you realize the more nuances that you ever could have even planned for or even imagined. And oftentimes, that revelation is the total game changer. Sometimes it's not what we hoped. Other times it's better than you could have ever even imagined. But you've got to do it first to find out. For instance, you might set out to build a dream business. You do your research, you plot your timeline, you figure out your marketing strategies, you gather all the capital you can. You're practically bursting with confidence that you've covered every single detail. But once you launch that puppy, once you put it out into the world, that's when it shows you what it really is. You see the real challenges, the real consumer responses, the real behind the scenes workflows, and it might reveal to you that you love it more than you expected, or it might reveal that it's an energy vampire and you want out. Same goes for relationships. We've all been there. The first exciting spark of, ooh, this could be something big, only to find out a few months later, wow, this might not be the synergy that I want for the next 50 years. But we often tend to cling to that original fantasy, ignoring the big neon signs telling us that it's time to let go or time to pivot. The plan reveals itself, but we let old assumptions keep us on the same path that no longer serves us. In business, in personal, it doesn't matter. And that's the risk when you're not paying attention to what's being revealed to you. Sometimes the reveals are as light as a feather on your forehead. In other cases, and in my case, oftentimes it needs to be a 2x4 across my forehead, but it will reveal itself. And here's the wild thing. What happens in business can absolutely happen in our personal goals too. We catch the spark of an idea, like I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And at first we're stoked, but clueless about where it's going to lead us. When I first set out to get fit, I remember dipping my toes in cycling and boom, I was hooked. My heart lit up every time I hit the road. That was my amazing place to be. From there, I laced up my shoes and realized that I could run. I actually enjoyed running. I couldn't run to my cupboard for cookies before, but I actually enjoyed running. And before you knew it, I had stumbled into an entire different universe of triathlon training. Suddenly I was surrounded with next level ideas, epic people, and the kinds of coaching that revealed that an idea of, hey, Sean, do an Ironman. And that actually turned into a reality. And that's the magical moment when you find yourself obsessed in all the best ways possible with a goal that you once thought was too big or too out there. The grind isn't just hard work anymore. It's an adventure into a deeper part of you that you never knew existed. You push your body, your mind, your spirit further than you ever believed possible. And that's the game changer. Because once you tap into that deeper drive, nothing can hold you back, not in fitness, not in business, not in life. It all starts with taking that first step. As I said, do the thing and you shall have the power. Now, managing your expectations is key. Dream big, plan thoroughly, but leave room for the unpredictable. Leave space for the revelations, for things to reveal themselves, right? Because the process isn't about guaranteeing your big idea is bulletproof. It's about stepping up to the plate so you can truly see what the hell you're dealing with. And let's talk specifically about business again. I'm telling you, it might sound clear-cut, but it rarely is straightforward. You think you've got the perfect product, the perfect brand, the perfect plan. Suddenly you're pivoting on the fly. Maybe the brand that you wanted to create ends up being a stepping stone to a completely different product, one that solves an even bigger problem for your customers. You see that aha moment and it changes the direction entirely. Usually you can't truly see the future. You can guess, you can strategize, you can obsess over, worst case scenario or best case scenarios, but in the end, it's the act of doing that reveals the raw truth. Maybe you'll luck out. Maybe you'll find that you can't stand it anymore and move on. Or maybe you'll land in a sweet spot exactly where you meant to be. Regardless, you don't know until you go out there and give it a real chance. When you're building your life vision, whether it's around your finances or your relationships or your health or your personal growth or that unstoppable empire that you're building, structure it to the best of your ability. Lay out milestones, timelines, the big mission, and then pour your heart into it. but keep your eyes open for what it's telling you as you go. Look, 80% of your plan might end up being spot on, ready to go, but 20% is going to need that big shift, that big pivot. Or sometimes 80% needs that shift or that pivot, and only 20% stays. Heck, I remember in the earliest days of my own personal development journey, I had this grand ambition with 100 different steps in it, from A to Z, only to find out that at step 3, changed the entire plan, changed everything. It changed the direction of what I was doing. And guess what? That's how I discovered my calling as being a mindset strategist. I had to go through it to see it. And that's a big piece of the puzzle. A lot of people never start because they get paralyzed by the incomplete plan. They think, I need to know every single detail. I need to guarantee success. But guess what? You're never going to know every detail until you put yourself in the game. That's the beauty, and that's the frustration, yes, of doing something brand new. So manage your expectations. Know that you're going to run into detours, but once you find that sweet spot, once the plan has revealed itself in all of its realness, that's when you see the path clearly. That's when you can decide if it's time to press harder, pivot, or even let go. But the real clarity only comes after you get your hands dirty and get in the game. It's the same approach for every time I build a new course or program or even a new aspect of my own daily routine. I'll do all the imagining, all the what ifs in my Obsidian notes, and I'll even keep this little special link that says what might change once reality hits, because guaranteed something will. Positive or negative, something's going to happen and something's going to change. That's normal. And when it does change, when it reveals that shift, that's not a sign that you failed or a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're on the path. You're gaining real world data. You're learning. That's the point. The worst thing to do is to be rigid in your plan and to keep marching in the wrong direction simply because that's the path that you mapped out 3 months ago. You gotta ride the wave of this new information that's coming in. Now, when I'm old and gray, I see myself sitting in front of a bunch of young go-getters, maybe my grandkids or my great-grandkids, sharing all these same stories. And they'll be connecting their iPhones into their neural links in their bodies or whatever, fancy devices that exist by then. And they'll be like, we know, great grandpa, let's just keep moving. We know. But in the best of worlds, that means that these philosophies that we're talking about have fully integrated into their generation. It means that my coaching has served its purpose. Eventually, they don't need the fundamentals repeated because they're living the next iteration. They've leveled up beyond what I can even imagine right now. And that's the ultimate dream. But until then, we share, we teach, we reflect, we adapt, we keep each other growing and evolving. The best gift that you can give someone is a nudge towards self-discovery. A nudge, a kick in the butt, a push, a shove, whatever you want to call it. That pushes to see if there's more to them than they even realize. And trust me, there is always more. So let this be your reminder. The plan reveals itself once you begin. For everything you do, every relationship, every business, every path up to personal mastery, stay open to the pivot. Don't be alarmed if something that you believed was the perfect plan morphs into something else entirely. That's your expansion in action. That's life showing you the real route. All right, my friends, that is enough ranting for today. I can go on, and I hope you let these words sink in. I hope you catch even one idea that lights up your mind and helps you see the next step with laser-like clarity. Maybe it's time to start that project you've been overthinking. Maybe it's time to reevaluate a current situation and ask, is this the real thing, or has it already revealed itself that I should be moving on? The sooner that you start, the sooner you find out, and the clearer you'll be on where your true path lies. As always, thank you for spending the time with me here on the Thinking Big podcast. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you, your energy, your curiosity, your willingness to grow alongside me. And if today's episode resonated, if it stirred up something, share it with friends. Tag me on social media. Let's keep this momentum flowing and let's keep thinking bigger together. And until next time, I'm Sean Osborn, reminding you to automate, optimize, and adapt, because that's how we design a life that reveals more than we ever imagined possible. Let's go.